Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master, another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins, where a seemingly ordinary piece of pocket change might just be hiding a fortune. If you're someone who has ever glanced at a coin in your hand and wondered if it could be worth more than its face value, then you're in the right place. Today, we'll take a close look at a truly remarkable piece that has stunned collectors, numismatists, and auction houses alike. The legendary 1977 D Washington quarter that has been valued at a staggering $17 million due to a series of extraordinary errors, anomalies, and minting mysteries that continue to puzzle and amaze even the most experienced experts in the field. This isn't just a coin, it's a historical artifact, a rare accident of production, and a prime example of how even a small deviation from the norm can turn a 25-cent coin into one of the most valuable and sought-after pieces in American numismatic history. Let's begin by understanding the basic context of the Washington quarter, and why the 1977 D version, in particular, has gained such an astonishing reputation. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932, introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. While most quarters minted throughout the decades serve their basic purpose in commerce, occasionally a small number escape the mint with peculiarities that are anything but ordinary. And one such extraordinary example is the 1977 D quarter. The Denver Mint, indicated by the D Mint mark, has long been one of the primary facilities responsible for churning out millions of coins annually. In 1977 alone, the Denver Mint produced more than 256 million quarters. With such a massive volume, it's not surprising that occasional minting errors might slip through. What makes this particular 1977 D quarter so exceptional is not just one error, but a combination of multiple anomalies that make it virtually one of a kind. These errors range from dramatic die clashes, off-center strikes, double strikes, and planchet issues to one of the most curious mint mark misplacements ever recorded in the quarter's long history. Each of these factors contributes to the incredible value this particular coin holds today. When examining the $17 million 1977 D quarter, the first thing collectors notice is the misalignment of the strike. Unlike normal quarters, where the design is centered neatly on the planchet, this coin displays a noticeable off-center strike that immediately separates it from typical examples. This off-center error alone would be enough to increase the coin's value significantly, particularly if the misalignment affects major design elements such as Washington's profile or the inscriptions. But in this case, the off-center strike is just the beginning. Next comes the issue of a double strike. A double strike occurs when the coin is struck more than once by the dies, resulting in a ghost-like image that partially overlaps the original design. These errors are visually dramatic and highly coveted among collectors. On this coin, the double strike is not only present but perfectly aligned in such a way that it creates a shadow effect of Washington's bust, giving the coin an almost surreal appearance. The reverse side, too, displays doubling in the word quarter dollar, which only adds to its rarity. But perhaps the most jaw-dropping anomaly on the coin is the mint mark error. Normally, the D mint mark indicating Denver is placed just to the right of Washington's ponytail. On this coin, however, the mint mark is either missing entirely or has been stamped in an unusually low position, somewhere near the bottom rim of the coin. This misplacement raises the question of how such an error could have occurred. The placement of the mint mark is typically a well-controlled process, and deviations of this kind are incredibly rare. Some experts speculate that a defective mint mark punch or a misaligned die could be to blame. Others believe it could have been part of a transitional die error, where older dies from a previous year or batch were improperly reused. Another contributing factor to this coin's astronomical value is its planchet composition. While most 1977 quarters were struck on a copper-nickel-clad planchet, rumors persist among collectors and professionals that this particular coin may have been accidentally struck on a silver planchet leftover from earlier runs. A metallurgical analysis of similar error coins has sometimes revealed unusual content, such as elevated silver levels or even trace amounts of other metals like zinc or tin. If confirmed, a planchet error of this nature would significantly increase the coin's value, as silver planchet errors are exceedingly rare in the post-1965 era, especially on quarters. Then there is the matter of the coin's overall condition. For a coin to reach the multi-million-dollar mark, condition is crucial. This particular 1977 D quarter, despite its numerous striking errors, is believed to be in an almost uncirculated or even mint state condition, graded well above MS-65 on the Sheldon scale. The lack of major surface scratches, the sharpness of the details, and the luster of the metal all point to a coin that was either quickly removed from circulation or never entered it at all. Many collectors believe it may have been part of a mint employee's collection or set aside after discovery due to its strange characteristics. But the intrigue doesn't stop at physical attributes. The provenance, or history of ownership, of the coin adds another layer of mystique. Some sources claim the coin was first discovered at a flea market by an unsuspecting individual who simply thought it looked odd. Others say it came to light during a private estate auction and was later authenticated by a top-tier grading service. Regardless of its origin, once the coin entered the world of professional numismatics, it caused an immediate stir. Auction houses began buzzing, and collectors were eager to get their hands on it. Bidding wars erupted, driving the price higher and higher, until it ultimately fetched $17 million, an unheard of sum for a modern Washington quarter. What makes this coin so desirable is the rarity and convergence of multiple errors in a single piece. Any one of these issues, off-center strike, double strike, misplaced mint mark, planchet anomaly, or pristine condition, would be enough to make the coin worth thousands, possibly even hundreds of thousands. But all of them together? That's something you almost never see. It's like winning the lottery of minting the stakes. Moreover, the 1977 D quarter is a reminder of the human element within the minting process. Despite the high-tech machinery and rigorous quality control measures in place, mistakes can and do happen. And sometimes those mistakes result in artifacts that are not only valuable but tell a story. This coin is a conversation piece, a mystery, and a treasure all in one. It's the kind of coin that brings together historians, metallurgists, collectors, and curious onlookers who just can't believe that something so small and seemingly insignificant could be worth millions. There are also interesting legal and procedural questions that arise with such coins. For instance, can the United States Mint ever reclaim such an era coin? Could it be considered government property if it were never intended for circulation? These questions have been raised before in the numismatic community, especially in cases where era coins were smuggled out of the mint or sold before final inspection. However, in most cases, once a coin enters public circulation, even by accident, it becomes legal tender and legal private property. That means whoever holds this coin holds a fortune attached to it, no questions asked. Over the years, this coin has inspired many collectors to re-examine their own change jars and coin collections. After all, if a simple quarter from 1977 can turn out to be worth $17 million, what might be hiding in your pocket or piggy bank right now? That sense of possibility, that thrill of discovery, is what keeps the numismatic world alive and thriving. Collectors often refer to such high-value coins as black swans, rare, unexpected, and game-changing. The 1977 D quarter is the perfect embodiment of this idea. It's not just a collectible, it's a phenomenon. People have scoured coin rolls, searched vending machines, and combed through old cash drawers hoping to find a twin to this legendary piece. So far, none have been found, further emphasizing its singularity. And what does this mean for the future? Coins like the 1977 D quarter have the potential to shift market dynamics, influence grading criteria, and set new benchmarks for what a modern era coin can be worth. It has redefined what's possible in American coin collecting and created a ripple effect of renewed interest in the late 1970s mint issues. Auction prices for other 1970s era quarters have seen a sharp increase, and even normal 1977 D quarters in mint condition now carry a premium simply due to the aura surrounding their ultra-rare cousin. In conclusion, the 1977 D Washington quarter worth $17 million is a numismatic marvel born from a perfect storm of minting anomalies, pristine preservation, and historical intrigue. It is the rarest of the rare, a piece that captures the imagination and spirit of collectors across the world. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone curious about coins, this story proves that even the smallest object can hold immense value, monetary, historical, and sentimental. And maybe, just maybe, there's a treasure waiting in your loose change, too. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in the world of coin collecting, a 1997 D Washington quarter, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents, yet potentially valued at an unbelievable $13 million. That's right, $13 million for a coin you might overlook in your pocket change. What makes this particular quarter so valuable? What errors, mistakes, minting anomalies, or mysterious variations could turn an everyday object into a collector's dream? Stay with us as we unravel the full story. The 1997 D Washington quarter comes from a relatively recent year, minted in Denver, and at first glance, it doesn't seem to stand out from the millions of other quarters produced that year. However, appearances can be deceiving. This is no ordinary quarter. What makes it unique is a combination of factors, some visible to the naked eye and others requiring a trained numismatist's attention. First, we must understand the historical and minting context of the Washington quarter and how the Denver Mint operated in 1997. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, when it was introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, it has undergone many subtle and not so subtle design and compositional changes, but by 1997, the coin's obverse still featured the familiar portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan. The reverse, bearing an eagle with outstretched wings, had remained largely unchanged for years. The composition was the same as all clad quarters post-1965, an outer layer of copper nickel bonded to an inner core of pure copper. Yet among the massive quantities produced, a few coins have surfaced over time that defy the expected characteristics. These rarities, due to striking errors, planchet mistakes, and mint mark anomalies, can command astronomical prices at auction. In the case of the 1997 D Washington quarter, one such specimen reportedly sold or was appraised at a value of $13 million. This begs the question, what exactly could justify such a massive deviation from its face value? The answer lies in the complexity of minting processes and the rare missteps that occur under extremely unusual circumstances. For instance, some known valuable quarters are the result of off-center strikes, double dies, transitional errors, or incorrect planchet use. While any one of these errors can increase a coin's value exponentially, a combination of multiple errors can push a coin into a whole different category of rarity and desirability. One possible explanation for the $13 million valuation involves a double die error on both the obverse and reverse. Double die coins occur when the die used to strike the design onto the planchet has been improperly manufactured, resulting in the design elements appearing twice, slightly offset, on the struck coin. These double impressions can be subtle or very dramatic, affecting the lettering, dates, or key design elements like Washington's profile or the eagle's feathers. In the rarest cases, a double die appears on both sides of the coin, making it a dual-sided error coin, which can be unprecedented in modern quarters. Another aspect of this quarter's value could stem from a striking on the wrong planchet. Planchets are the blank discs onto which the coin's design is stamped, and they are supposed to match the denomination being produced. But if, for example, a quarter design is struck onto a planchet meant for a foreign coin or a different U.S. denomination, like a dime, penny, or even a golden dollar, the resulting coin becomes a minting anomaly. Collectors pay immense premiums for such mismatched pieces, especially when authenticated and graded by reputable organizations. There is also the possibility of an off-metal strike, where a coin intended for one composition ends up made from another due to planchet contamination or substitution. The 1997 D quarter may have been struck on a 90% silver planchet, which would be highly unusual given that silver was no longer used for standard coinage after 1964. A silver quarter from 1997 would be a major minting mistake, one that would send shockwaves through the numismatic world. Such an error would be traceable by weight, sound, and spectral analysis of the metal composition. If confirmed, a silver 1997 D quarter, especially combined with other anomalies, could easily explain the coin's stratospheric value. Mint mark errors also play a huge role in determining a coin's worth. The D mint mark, indicating that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, is typically found on the obverse of the quarter. However, in some ultra-rare cases, this mark is missing entirely or appears in a malformed or misaligned way. There have also been instances where the mint mark was punched manually and inconsistently, creating varieties such as the D over D or D over S errors, where one mint mark was struck over another. A 1997 D quarter showing evidence of a D over S mint mark, implying that a die originally intended for San Francisco was reused at Denver, would be an extraordinary find, and incredibly rare in modern coinage practices, given how automated minting became by the late 20th century. The alignment and orientation of the coin are also crucial. A coin with rotational misalignment, where the obverse and reverse do not line up correctly when the coin is flipped, can be classified as a rotational error. While minor misalignments are relatively common and usually not very valuable, a significant misalignment, especially coupled with other major errors, can multiply a coin's value significantly. Further, we must consider the coin's strike quality. A specimen struck with extreme pressure causing a high relief effect or containing deeply etched features might be mistaken for a proof strike, reserved typically for special mint sets or collector's editions. If a 1997 D quarter was struck using proof dies or received a proof-like strike by accident in the regular minting process, its appearance would be significantly shinier and more detailed than a standard circulation coin. Add in an error or two, and you've got a coin worthy of headlines. Some reports suggest that the high-value 1997 D quarter might have been part of an experimental run, possibly involving test strikes for a new composition or minting technique that was never approved for mass production. If even a handful of such experimental coins slipped through the cracks and into circulation or private hands, they would be virtually priceless due to their one-of-a-kind status. Experimental coins are rarely documented, and when found, they often surprise the collecting community with their novelty and mystery. Authentication plays a massive role in the story of any high-value coin. The Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, must certify such a coin for its valuation to hold weight. For a coin to be worth $13 million, it would not only need to have multiple significant errors or unique features but also be in extraordinary condition, ideally mint state, MS 67 or higher, indicating a well-preserved coin with minimal handling or circulation wear. Market demand and collector interest can also skyrocket a coin's price. In an era where rare coins make headlines and attract wealthy investors, a buzzworthy coin like a 1997 D quarter with jaw-dropping features becomes a hot commodity. Public auctions can drive the price up through bidding wars, especially when elite collectors or museums vie to add such a coin to their holdings. Now, imagine all these factors combining in one coin. A double die error, a wrong planchet strike, an off-metal composition, a missing or anomalous mint mark, a proof-like appearance, and perhaps even an experimental origin. Put together, these features make the 1997 D Washington quarter a perfect storm of rarity. Such a coin wouldn't just be rare, it would be virtually unique, perhaps one of one in the entire world. That kind of exclusivity is what drives prices into the tens of millions. Rumors of such a coin passing quietly through circulation, being sold at auction, or sitting in a private collection fuel the fascination. It becomes a legend among collectors, a white whale worth chasing. Imagine finding such a coin in a jar of spare change or tucked away in an old collection, unrecognized for decades. That fantasy, though improbable, is what keeps the hunt alive for many enthusiasts. Stories circulate of people discovering valuable coins in the most unexpected places: a roll of quarters from the bank, a drawer in a relative's house, or among estate sale items. The idea that a $13 million coin could be hiding in plain sight makes the 1997 D Washington quarter a modern-day treasure. The coin's notoriety continues to grow as more people share images and ask experts to evaluate their finds, hoping that their quarter might be the elusive masterpiece. Speculation about the origins of the coin adds layers to its mystique. Was it created intentionally as a test and mistakenly released? Was it the result of a perfect storm of mechanical and human errors? Could it have been a rogue coin struck by a mint employee as part of a now-buried experiment? The U.S. Mint is notoriously secretive about such matters, and their silence often only increases the speculation. Over time, the story of the 1997 D quarter worth $13 million has become part of coin collecting folklore. Whether all details are verifiable or part of growing legend, the impact is undeniable. The story has ignited interest in error coins, mint mark anomalies, and rare quarter varieties. It's encouraged people to examine their pocket change more closely, to study minting practices, and to dream about striking gold, metaphorically speaking, with a simple coin. The appeal of such